Book 5, Part 1 of Troilus and Criseyde by Geoffrey Chaucer. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Kevin Johnson. Book 5, Incipit Liber Quintus. Approaching gone the fatal destiny it Lovis hath in disposition, and two yow angry parcas sustren three committeth to doen execution, for which Criseyde most out of the town, and Troilus shall dwella forth in pena, till la chasis his threed no longer tween. The golden tressed Phoebus haig on loft, three is hada alla, with his bemis shena the snow is multa, and Zephyrus as oft ye brochte yen the tendre labes graina, sin that the son of Ecuba the queen began to love her first, for whom his sorrowa was all, that she departe shoulda morwa. Full ready was at prime Diomede, Criseyde unto the Graecus ost to leda, for sorrow of which she felt her heart blade, as she that neiste what was best to reda, and truly as men in bookes reda, men wist never woman han the cara, ne was so luth out of a town to fara. This Troilus withouten reed or lore, as man that hath his joys eke forlore, was waiting on his laddie evermore, as she that was the soothfast crope and more of all his lust, or joyous heretofore. But Troilus, now farewell all thee joy, for shalt thou never seen here eft in Troy. South is, that while he bode in this manner, he gan his woe full manly for to heeda, that well underneath its sane was in his chera, but at the yata there she shoulda out a reda with certain folk, he hoved here to bede, so woe begone, all wold he knocked him plain, that on his horse aneth he sat for pain. For ere he quoke, so gan his heart gnaw, when Diomede on horse gan him dressa, and said unto himself this ilke saw, Alas, quod he, thus foul a wretchedness, we suffre icit, we nil icit redressa, were it not bet at onest for to die, than evermore in languor thus to dree? We nearly marka at unas rich and poor, to have ye knock to dawn, ere that she go. We nearly bring all Troy upon Aurora. We nearly slain this Diomede also. We nearly rather with a man or two stale her away. Why will I this endure? Why nearly helping to mean own cure? But why he nolde done so fell a dade, that shall he sayn, and we him listed spara, he hadde in hearte always a manner dreda, lest that Criseyde, in rumour of this far, should han been slain, lo, this was all his car, and elles certain, as he said de yore, he had it done withouten wordes mo. Criseyde, when she ready was to reda, full sorrowfully she seekte, and said, Alas! But forth she mote, for aught that may betide, and forth she writ, full sorrowfully apass. Then is nun other remedy in this case. What wonder is thou that her sore smerte, when she forgot her own sweete harte. These Troilus, in wise of courtesy, with hawk on hand, and with an huge rout of kneechtes, rode indeed her company, passing all the valley fair without, and further wold han reden, out of doubt, full fain, and woe is him to gun so soon, but turn he most, and it was eke to dawn. And reeked with that was Antonori come out of the Graecus host, and every week was of it glad, and said he was well come, and Troilus all near his hearte leekte, he painted him with all his full meeked him to withhold of weeping at the least, and Antonir he kissed, and made a feast. And therewithal he most his life attack, and cast his eye upon Hippitously, and ne'er he rued his cause for to make, to take her by the hand all soberly, and Lord, so she gan weeping tenderly, and he full soft and slackly gan her say, Now hold your day, and doth me not today. With that his courser turned he about with face pala, and unto Diomede ne word he spak, ne noon of all his rout, of which the son of Tydeus took heed, as he that code more than the crede in switche craft, and be the reign hier hente, and Troilus to Troy homeward he went. This Diomede that lada her by the bridle, when that he saw the folk of Troy away, thochte, all me labour shall not be on idle, if that he may, for somewhat shall he say, for at the worst it may yet short or away. Ye have heard said, eke team is 12, he is a fool that will forget himself. But natheless this thought he well enough, that certainly he am about a nacht, if that he spake of love or make it talk. For doubteless, if she have in her thought him that he gaze, he may not be nie brocht so soon away, but he shall find a mena, that she not weet as yet shall what I meane. This Diomede, as he that cowed his good, when this was done, gan fallen forth in speech of this and that, and asked wie she stood in switch disease, and gan her eke besach, that if that he increase meeked or age with anything her aise, that she should, commanded him, and said he done it would. For truly he swore her as a knecht, that there nas thing with which he meeked her plays, that he nol doen his pain and all his meeked to doen it, for to doen her heart and aise, and prayed her she wold her sorrow appease, and saide, I wis, we Grekes con have joy to honour in yow, as well as folk of Troy. He saide eke thus, I wot yow thinketh strange, no wonder is, for it is to yow know, the acquaintance of these Troyans to change, for folk of Greke, that ye never knew, but wolde never God but if as true, a Greke ye should among us all a fiend as any Troyan is, and eke as keen. And be the cause ye swore ye richt low, now, to be your friend and helply to me meeked, and for that more acquaintance eke of yow have each had than another stranger weeked, so for this forth I pray yow, die and neeked, commandeth me, how sore that me smarte, to doen all that may leak unto your hearte, and that ye may wolde as your brother traite, and taketh not me friendship in dispute, and though your sorrows be for things great, noot I not we, but out of more respite, mean heart hath for to amend it great delete, and if he may your harmes not redresse, I am right sorry for your heaviness. And though ye Trojans with us Grekes wroth, and many a day be, alway yet, pardie, O God of love, in sooth we serve in both, and for the love of God me lady free, whom so ye hate, as beth not wroth with me. For truly there can no weak yow serve, that half so luth your wrath will deserve. And ne'er it that we been so nigh the tent of Calchas, which that seen us both may, ye wold of these yow tell all mean intent, but this unsailed till another day. Give me your hand, I am and shall be I, God help me so, will that me lief may dure, your owen aboven every creature. Thus saide I never ere now to woman born, for God mean heart as weasly glad so. I loved never woman here before as paramours, I never shall no more, and for the love of God beth not my foe. All can I not to yow, my lady deare, complain a reet, for I am yet to lere. And wondereth not mine own lady breekt, though that I spake of love to you thus believe, for I have heard of this of many a weekt, hath loved thing he never saw his leave. Eke I am not a power for to strive against the God of love, but him obey I will alway, and mercy I yow pray. There being so worthy knechtes in this place, and ye so far that everych of them alla will ain in him to stonden in your grass, but meeked me so fair a grass a fall, that ye me for your servant will call, so lowly ne so truly you serve, nil noon of them as ye shall till ye starve. Criseyde unto that purpose leet and swerd, as she that was with sorrow oppressed so, that in effect she knocked his talus herde, but here and there, now here a word or two, her thought her sorrowful heart brast a two, for when she gone her father fair a spee, while neck down on her horse she gan to see. But natheless she thanked Diomede of all his travail, and his good cheer, and that him list his friendship here to bede, and she accepteth it in good manner, and will do fain that is him lief and dear, and trust in him she wold, and well she meeked, as saide she, and from her horse she aleeked. Her father hath her in his armes known, and 20 time he kissed his doctor sweete, and saide, O dear doctor mine, welcome. She saide eke, she was fain with him to meet, and stood forth mewet, milde, and mansuet. But here he lave her with her father dwelle, and forth he wol of Troilus jawatelle. To Troy is come this woeful Troilus, in sorrow above an alla sorrow smarte, with felon look and fast dispitaus, though sudden lay down from his horse he starte, and thurug his palace, with a swollen harte, to chambre he went, of nothing took he heede, ne none to him there spake a word for drede. And all his sorrows that he spared hara, he gaf an issue large, and death he cried, and in his throes frenetic and mad, he cursed love, Apollo, and eke Cupid. He cursed Ceres, Bacchus, and Capride, his Bertha, himself, his Vita, and eke nature, and save his lady, every creature. To bed he goeth, and waileth there, and turneth in fury, as doth he Ixion in hell, and in this wise he nake till day sojourneth. But though began his heart a lite unswell, through tears which that gonen up to well, and piteously he cried upon Criseyde, and to himself thus he spake and saide, Where is mine owen laddie lief and deare? Where is her witte breast? Where is it where? Where been her armes and her een clare, that yesternicht this time with me were? Now may he weep alone many a terror, and grasp about he may, but in this place, save a pillow, if in nacht tembras. How shall he do, when shall she come again? Inut alas, why let each her to go, as wold a god, each had as though be slain. O heart mine, Criseyde, O sweet a foe, O lady mine, that he love and no more, to whom for evermore mine hearty dow. See how he day, ye nil me not we scow. Who seeth yow now, me reekte low the star? Who sit reeked now, or stant in your presence? Who can comforten now your heart as were? Now I am gone, whom gave ye audience? Who spaketh for me reeked now in mine absence? Alas, no reeked, and that is all me cara, for well would I, as evil as I fare. How should I thus 10 days full endure, when I the first night have all this ta'en? How shall she do an eke sorrowful creature? For tenderness, how shall she this sustain? Switch woe for me, O piteous pale and green, shall be in your fresh a womanly chief face, for languor, ere ye turn unto this place. And when he fell in any slumberings, anon begin he should for to groan, and dreamen of the dreadfulest things, that meekte been, as mate he were alone in place horrible, making aye his moan, or maiden that he was among us all his enemies, and in her hand his fall. And there with all his body shoulder starte, and with the start all sudden leech awake, and switch a tremor fell about his hearte, that over the fear his body shoulder quake, and therewith all he shoulder noise make, and same as though he shoulder fall deep, from hake aloft, and then he would weep. And ruin on himself so piteously, that wonder was to hear his fantasy. Another time he should meekly comfort himself, and saying it was folly, so causally switch trade for to dree, and eft beginne his aspera sorrows new, that every man meeked on his sorrows rue. Woe could at all a reeked our full describe his woe, his plaint, his languor, and his pain. Not all the men that han or been on leave, thou, reader, mayst thyself full well divine, that switch a woe me wit cannot define. On idle, for to read it should I swinke, when that me wit is weary it to thinke. On heaven yet the stars were a saine, although full pale ye waxen was the mone, and weten gone the horizonte shene all eastward, as it woned is for to dawn, and Phoebus with his rosy curtis son gan after that to dress him up to fara, when Troilus hath sent after Pandare. This Pandare, that of all the day before, ne micht and common Troilus to say, although he on his heed it had he sworn, for with the king Priam all day was he, so that it lay not in his liberté, nowhere to goon, but on the morrow he went to Troilus, when that he for him sent. For in his heart he could well divine, that Troilus all neat for sorrow woke, and that he would tell him of his pain, his knew he well enough, without a book, for which to chambres straight the way he took, and Troilus though soberly he grate, and on the bed full soon he gan him sate. Mi Pandarus, quod Troilus, the sorrow which that he dree, he may not long endure, he trow he shall not leaven till tomorrow, for which he would alway on a venture, to thee devisen of me sepulture the forma, and of me mobile thou dispone, reet as thee seemeth best is for to dona. But of the fear and flambe funeral, in which me body brenne shall to glade, and of the feast and blaze palestral at me vigil, I pray thee take good heed, that be well, and offer Mars me stede, me sword, min helm, and lave brother dere, me shell to Pallas Jef, that shineth clara. The powder in which min heart ye brand shall turne, that pray I thee thou take it and conserve in a vessel, that men clapeth and yearn, of gold, and to my lady that I serve, for love of whom the spitously I starve, so gave it her, and do me this pleasance, to pray her keep it for remembrance. For well I fela be me melody, and be me dreames now and yore ago, I'll certainly the remote nades day. The oule eat which that heeked a scafilo, hath after me shrieked all these nictes two, and God Mercury of me now woeful wretche, the soul guide, and when the least it fetche. Pandare answered and said, Troilus, me dear friend, as I have told thee yore, that it is folly for to sorrowen thus, and causeless for which he can no more, but whoso will not throwen read ne lore. He cannot seen in him no remedy, but let him worthen with his fantasy. But Troilus, I pray thee tell me now, if that thou trow, ere this, that any wight hath loved paramours as well as thou, yea, God wot, and for many a worthy knecht hath his lady gone a fortenecht, and he not yet mad Havendal the fara, what need is thee to maken all this cara? Sin day be day, thou mayst they selven say, that from his love, or else from his wife, a man mote winnen of necessity, yea, though he love her as his own life, yet nil he with himself thus maken strive. For well thou wost, my lave brother dere, that alway friendays may not been ifera. How doen this folk that seen her love is wedded by friendies meekt, as it be teat for loft, and seen him in her spouse's bed ye bedded? God wot, they take it weasely, far and soft, for we good hope halt up her heart on lofte, and for they can a team of sorrow endure, as team him hurt, a team doth him cure. So shouldest thou endure, and let us lead the team, and fond to being glad and leeked, 10 days nis so long not to bede, and sin she thee to comen hath beheeked, she nil her hastes breken for no weekt, for dread thee not that she no finden way to come again, me lief that durst delay. These swevenays eke and all switch fantasy drive out, and let him faren to mischance, for they proceed of the melancholy, that doth thee fail and slape all this penance, a straw for all swevenays signifiance. God help me so, I count him not a bane, there would no man reeked what dreames mene. For priestess of the temple tellen these, that dreames been the revelations of Goddess, and as well they tella y wis, that they been infernals illusions, and leches saying that of complexions proceeden they, or fast, or gluttony, who woot in sooth thus what they signify. Ec others saying that thorough impressions, as if a week hath fast a thing in minde, that thereof cometh switch a visions, and others saying, as they in bocas finde, that after temes of the year be kinde, men dreme, and that the effect goeth by the moon, but leve no dream, for it is not to dawn. Well worth of dreames this olde weepes, and true leech eke augury of these fowls, for fear of which men wenen lace her leaves, as revenues qualm, or shrieking of these owles, to trowen on it both false and foul is, alas, alas, so noble a creature as is a man, shall dread a switch ordure. For which with all mine heart I thee besage, unto thyself that all this thou forgive, and rise up now without a more speech, and let us cast how forth may best be drive this tema, and eke how freshly we may leave when that she cometh, the which shall be right sona, God help me so, the best is thus to dona. Rise, let us spake of lusty lief in Troy that we han lad, and forth the tema drive, and eke of team coming us rejoy, that bringen shall our bliss now so leave, and languor of these twies dies fever, we shall therewith so forget or oppress, that well onethe it doen shall us duress. This town is full of lordes all about, and trues, lasten all this mena wheela. Go we play us some lusty rout to Sarpedon, not hennes but a mila, and thus there shalt the team well begila, and drive it forth unto that blissful morrow, that thou her see, that cause is of thy sorrow. Now rise, my dear brother Troilus, for certes, it nun honour is to thee to weep, and in thee better to yauken thus. For truly, of all thing trust to me, if thou dost liege a day, or two, or three, the folk will ween that thou, for cowardice, they fainest seek, and that thou darest not rise. These Troilus answered, O brother dear, this knowen folk that han ye suffered pain, that though he weep and make sorrowful cheer, that faileth harm and smert in every vein, no wonder is, and though he ever plain, or alway weep, I am no thing to blame, sin ye have lost the cause of all my gamma. But sine fine force immuta rise, ye shall arise as soon as ever ye may, and God, to whom mine heart ye sacrifice, so send us hastily the 10th day, for was there never fowl so fain of May, as ye shall been, when that she cometh in Troy, that cause is of my torment and me joy. But reader is they read, quoth Troilus, that we may play us based in all this town. Begod, me counsel is, quoth Pandarus, to read and play us with King Sarpedon. So long of this they spaken up and down, till Troilus gone at the last ascenta to Risa, and forth to Sarpedon they went. This Sarpedon, as he that honourable was ever his leva, and full of haec prowessa, with all that meekly ye served been on tabla, that dainty was, all caustic great richessa, he fed him day by day, that switch noblessa, as Satan both the most and eke the least, was never ere that day wist at any feast. Nor in this world there is non instrument delicious, through wind, or touch, or corde, as fair as any week hath ever ye went, that tongue tell or heart may record, that at that feast it nas well heard accord. Nay of ladies eke so fair a company on dance, ere though was never ye seen with ye. But what availeth these to Troilus, that for his sorrow nothing of it rauchte, for ever in un his heart pia taus, for busily Criseyde his lady sought, on here was ever all that his heart thoughte, now this, now that, so fast imagining, that glad ye wis con him no festa ying. These ladies eke that at this feast been, sin that he saw his lady was away, it was his sorrow upon him for to sing, or for to hear on instruments so play, for she that of his heart a birth decay, was absent. Lo, this was his fantasy, that no weak shoulder make a melody. Nor there nas hour in all the day or neekt, when he was there as no week meeked him hera, that he nae saide, O lovesome lady breekt, how have ye faren, sin that ye were here? Well come ye wis, min owen lady dere, but wail away all this nas but a mesa, fortune his hauva intended but to claisa. The later is eke that she of old a tema had him ye sent, he wold alone a rada, and 100 seetha, atwixt a noon and prima, befiguring per shop, for woman haid, within his heart, and every word and data that passed was, and thus he drove to an end the first day, and saide he wold the wind. And saide, late brother Pandarus, intendest thou that we shall here blave till Sarpedon will forth congeyen us? Yet were it fairer that we took our lave, for God is love, let us now soon at Ava our lave take, and homeward let us turn, for truly he nil not thus sojourn. Pandari answered, Be we comen hither to fetch and fear, and rennen home again? God help me so, he cannot tellen whither we meekten goen, if he shall sooth be sane. There any week is of us more fain than Sarpedon, and if we hennes he the certainly, he hold it villainy. Sin that we saiden that we would blave with him awoke, and now, though certainly, the fourth a die to take of him our lava, he wold a wondering on it truly. Let us hold the forth our purpose firmly, on sin that ye be heeked in him to bide, hold forward now, and after let us reade. Thus Pandarus with all a pain and woe, made him to dwell, and at the woke's ende of Sarpedon they took her leva though, and on her way they spaden him to wende, quod Troilus, now God may grace sende, that he may finden at min homecoming, Criseyde comen, and therewith gone he singe. Ye hazel woda thought to this Pandera, and to himself full softly he saide, God woot, befrieden may this haute affaire, el quelque sende Troilus Criseyde. But natheless he yeped thus, and saide, and swore, I wis, his heart him well beheeked, she wolde come as soon as ever she meeked. When they unto the palace were ye comen of Troilus, they down of horse leeked, and to the chambre her way then han they nomen, and into tema that it gan to neeked. They spoken of Criseyde, the breeked. And after this, when that him both alaced, they spade him fro the super unto rest. On morwe, as soon as day began to clare, thus Troilus gan of his sleep to brede, and to Pandara his own brother dere, for love of God full piteously he said, As go we sain the palace of Criseyde, for sin we yet may have no more feasta, so let us seen her palace at the laste. And therewithal his mane for to blende, a cause he found in town for to go, and to Criseyde's house they gon and wende, but Lord, the silly Troilus was woe, him thought his sorrowful heart brast at woe, for when he saw her doorway sperred all, well nake for sorrow adown he gan to fall. Therewith, when he was war and gone, behold how shade was every window of the plaza, as frost him thought, his heart gan to colde, for which with changed deedlich palafas, withouten word he forth began to pass, and, as God wolde, he gan so fast to reade, that no weeked of his countenance a speed. Then said he thus, O palace desolate, O house of houses whilom best ye heeked, O palace empty and disconsolate, O thou lanterne, of which quaint is they leeked, O palace, whilom day that now art neeked, well octest thou to falle, and I to day, since she is wont, that want was us to gie. O palace, whilom crown of houses alla, illumined with sona of alla bliss, O ring, for which the ruby is outfalle, O cause of woe, that cause has been of Lisa, yet, sin ye may no bet, fain wold ye kisse the cold doors, durste I for this route, and farewell Shrina, of which they saint is out. Therewith he cast on Pandarus his yea, with changed face, and pit out to behold, and when he maked his team a reek to spy, as he rode, to Pandarus he told his newe sorrow, and eke his joy is old, so pitously and with so dade and hue, that every week meekte on his sorrow rue. Fro thenceforth he readeth up and down, and everything come him to remembrance, as he rued for be places of the town, in which he whilom had all his plaisance. Lo, yon saw he mean owen lady dance, and in that temple with her ain Clara, me cocked first me reeked a lady dere. And yonder have he heard for lustily, me der heart lach, and yonder play saw he her onnes eke for blissfully, and yonder honest to me gan she say, now good sweete, love me well, I pray. And yon so goodly gan she me behold, that to the death min heart is to her hold. And at that corner, in the yonder house, her I mean alder lavis lady dere so womanly, with voice melodious, singing so well, so goodly and so clara, that in me soul yet me thinketh he heara the blissful sound, and in that yonder place a lady first me took unto her grace. Then thought he thus, O blissful Lord Cupid, when I the process have in my memory, how thou me hast wearied on every side, men make the book make of it like a story. What need is they to seek on me victory, sin I am thine, and wholly at thee will, what joy hast thou thine own folk to spill? Well hast thou, Lord, ye roke on me thine ire, thou mighty God, and dreadful for to grave. Now mercy, Lord, thou wost well I desire thee grace most, of all a lust is lave, and leave and day I will in thee believe, for which I nexe in guerdon bute bona, that thou Criseyde again me sende sona. The strain her heart is as fast to return, as thou dost mean to longen her to say, then would I well, that she nil not sojourn, now, blissful Lord, so cruel thou ne be, unto the blood of Troy, I pray thee, as Juno was unto the blood Thebain, for which the folk of Thebes cocked her bane. And after this, he to the Yeatis went, there as Criseyde outrode a full good pass, and up and down there mad he many a went, and to himself full oft he said, alas, from hence rode my bliss and me solace, as will the blissful God now for his joy, he make her seen again come into Troy. And to the yonder hill he gan her guide, alas, and there he took of her me leve, and yond he saw her to her father rede, for sorrow of which min hearte shall to clave, and heder whom I come when it was eve, and here I dwelle outcast from all joy, on shall, till he may seen her eft in Troy. And of himself imagined he oft to been defet, and pala, and wax and lace, than he was wont, and that men saiden softer, what may it be? Who can the sothe guess why Troilus hath all this heaviness, and all this not but his melancholy, that he had of himself such fantasy? Another team imagining he wold, that every week that went be the way, had of him wrouth, and that they say and should, ye am right sorry Troilus will a day, and thus he drove a day yet forth or tway, as ye have heard, switch leaf reeked gan he laid, as he that stood betwixen hope and dread. For which him leaked in his song is show, then she song of his woe, as he best meeked, and mad a song of words but a few, somewhat his woeful heart for to leaked, and one he was from every man is seeked, with softer voice he of his lady dere, that was absent gan singe as ye may hear. O starre of which ye lost have all they leaked, with hearte sore will octi to bewail, that ever dark in torment neekt by neekt, toward me death with wind in stair I saila, for which the tenth neekt if that I faila, the guiding of the bemes breekt an hour, me ship and me Charybdis will devour. This song when he thus songen hadde, soon he full again into his seekes olde, and every night, as was his wone to doen, he stood the breekte moon to beholde, and all his sorrow he to the moaner tolde, and saide, I wis, when thou art horned newe, I shall be glad, if all the world be true. I saw thine hornes olde eke by the morwe, when hennes rude my reekte lady dere, that causes of me torment and me sorrow, for which, O breekte Lucina the clare, for love of God, ran fast about the spere, for when thine hornes nu again springe, then shall she come, that may me blisse bringe. The day is more and langer every night, than they be wont to be, him thoughte though, and that the sonne went his course unreeked, be langer way than it was wont to go, and saide, I wis, he dreadeth evermo, the sonne's sonne, phaeton, be on leave, and that his father's cart amiss he drive. Upon the walles fast eke wold he walke, and on the Grekes oast he wolde say, and to himself reek thus he wolde talke, Lo, yonder is mine own lady free, where else yonder, there thou tentest be, and dennis comes this air, that is so sote, that in me soul I fail it doth me bote. And heartily this wind, that more and more thus stound a mele increaseth in my face, is of me lady's deepest seeke sore, I prave it thus, for in none other place of all this town, save only each in this space, feel I no wind that soundeth so like pain, that saith, alas, we twinned be we twain. This longe time he driveth forth reek thus, till fully passed was the ninth night, and aye beside him was this Pandarus, that busily did all his fulle might, him to comfort, and make his heart leaked, giving him hope alway, the 10th morwe, that she shall come, and stinten all his sorrow. Upon that other side eke was Criseyde, with women few, among the Grekes stronge, for which full oft the day, alas, she saide, that he was born, well may mine hearte longe after me death, for now live I too longe, alas, and I ne may it not amende, for now is worse than ever yet I wende. Me father nil for nothing do me grace, to gone again, for naught I can him quaim, and if so be that I me turn me pass, me Troilus shall in his hearte dame, that I am false, and so it may well seem, thus shall he have on thank on every side, that he was born, so wail away the tide. And if that I may put in juberty, to stale away by night, and it befall that I be cocked, I shall behold a spie, for else, lo, this dread I most of all, if in the hondes of some wretch I falle, I am but lost, or be mine hearte true, now mighty God, thou on my sorrow rue. For pale I waxen was her breekte face, her limbs lene, as she that all the day stood when she durst, and looked on the place, there she was born, and there she dwelt hadde aye, and all the night weeping, alas, she lie, and thus despaired out of all a cure, she laid her life, this woeful creature. Full oft the day she seeked eke for distress, and in herself she went aye portraying of Troilus the great worthiness, and all his goodly wordes recording, sin first that day her love began to spring, and thus she said her woeful hearte fear, through remembrance of that she gone desire. In all this world there nis so cruel hearte that her hadde, her complaining in her sorrow, that no the hand wopen for her paine smarte, so tenderly she weep, both eve and morwe, her needed no terrors for to borrow, and this was yet the worst of all her pain, there was no weak to whom she durst her plain. Full ruefully she looked up on Troy, beheld the towers hake and eke the halles. Alas, quod she, the pleasance and the joy, the which that now alternate into gala is, have ye had oft within yonder walles. O Troilus, what dost thou now? She saide, Lord, whether yet thou thinke upon Criseyde. Alas, ine hadde trowed on your lore, and went with yow, as ye may rara ere this, then had he now not seeked half so sore, who meekte han said that he had done amiss, to stale away with switch on as he is. But all too late cometh the letuary, when man the course unto the grave carry. Too late is now to spake of this matter. Prudence, alas, one of thine e'en three may lack it alway, ere he come here. On team ye passed, well remembered may, and present team eke code ye well ye say, but future team, ere he was in the snare, could he not sayn, that causeth now my cara. But natheless, betide what betide, ye shall tomorrow at nicht, by est or weste, out of this oast stale on some manner side, and go with Troilus whereas him laste. This purpose will he holde, and this is beste, no force of wicked tongues janglery, for ever on love han wretches had and be. For whoso will of every word take a heed, or rule in him by every weakness wit, ne shall he never thriven out of dreade, for that some men blamen ever yet. Lo, other manner folk commanden it, and as for me, for all which variants, felicite clepe I me suffisance. For which, withouten any wordes mo, to Troy I wole, as for conclusion, but God it wote, ere fully monthes two, she was full fair for that intention. For both the Troilus and Troya town shall cannot lease through out her hearte slide, for she will talk a purpose for to bide. This Diomede, of whom yow tell gan, goth now within himself arguing, with all they slaked and all that ever he can, how he may baste with shortest tarrying, into his net Criseyde's hearte bring. To this intent he could never fiend, to fish and here he laid out hook and line. But natheless well in his hearte he thought, that she nas not without a love in Troy, for never sithen he her thennes braucht, ne could he sayn her lauch or make a joy. He nist how best her heart for to coy, but for to assay he saide, it not ne graveth, for he that not ne saith, not ne chaveth. Yet saide he to himself upon a nicht, now I am not a fool, that wot well how, for woe for love is of another weekt, and hereupon to gon assay her now, he may well weet, it nil not been my brow, for we's a folk in bokes it express, men shall not woe a weekt in heaviness. But whoso meek to win and switch a flower from him for whom she mourneth nicht and die, he meek to sayn he were a conqueror, and reeked anon as he that bold was thoughte in his hearte, hapa how, hapa may, all shoulde I day, he will her hearte seche, he shall no more lesen but me speche. These Diomede, as Bocchus used to declare, was in his natives praised and courageous, with sterne voice and meekty limes square, hardy, tasty, strong, and chivalrous, of Dadas like his father Tydeus, and some men sayn he was of tongue large, and hair he was of Caledoine and Arga. Criseyde main was of her stature, thereto of shape, of face, and eke of chair, there meek to be no fairer creature, and oft the tema this was her manner, to gon ye tressed with her haires clear, down by her collar, at her back behinde, which with a thread of gold she wore the binde. And safe browes joined den ye fara, there nas no lack, in aught ye can ye spayen, but for to spaken of her e'en clare, lo, truly, they written let her shane, that Paradise stood formed in her yane, and with her reach a beauty evermore strove love in her, I which of him was more. She sober was, eke simple, and wise withal, the best ye nourished eke that meek to be, and goodly of her speech in general, charitable, estat leech, lusty and free, nay never mo ne lacked her pity, tendre hearted, sleeding of courage, but truly I cannot tell her age. On Troilus well waxen was and heeked, and complete formed by proportion so well, that keened it not amend and meekte, young, fresh, strong, and hardy as leon, true as stale in each condition, one of the best entaged creature, that is, or shall, will that the world may dure. On certain lay and story it is ye found, that Troilus was never unto no weaked, as in his team in no degree second, enduring dawn that longeth to a kneeked, all meeked a giant, passing him of meeked, his heart a, with the fairest and with the bast stood perigal, to dure dawn that him laced. For to tellen forth of Diomede, it fell that after, on the 10th day, sin that Criseyde out of the city yede, these Diomede, as fresh as branch in May, come to the tent there as Calchas lay, and fained with him Calchas hunted on. But what he meant, he shall you tell us soon. Criseyde at shorter words for to tella, welcomed him, and down by here him sette, and he was aith ye knock to maken dwell. And after this, withouten longer let, the species and the ween, and forth him fate, and forth they spake of this and that ye fare, as friendes doen, of which some shall ye hear. He gan first fallen of the war in speche, twixt him and the folk of Troy town, and of the sage he gan her eke beseche, to tell him what was her opinion. Fro that demand he so descendeth down to ask and hear, if that her strange thoughte, the Greekes Giza, and workes that they rocked. And we her father tarrieth so longe, to waden her unto some worthy weeked. Criseyde, that was in her paines stronge for love of Troilus, her own kneeked, as fairforth as she conning had her meeked, answered him though, but, as of his intent it seemed not she wiste what he meant. But natheless this ilke Diomede gan in himself assure, and thus he saide, if each a reeked have taken of jou hede, may thinketh thus, O lady mean Criseyde, that sin ye first hand on your bridle lade, one ye outcome of Troy by the morwe, ne could he never seen jou but in sorwe. Can ye not sayn what may the cause be, but if for love of some Troyan it were, the which a reek sore world thinketh me, that ye, for any week that dwelleth there, shoulden spill a quarter of a terre, or pitasly yourselven so beguile, for dreadless it is not worth the wheele. The folk of Troy, as who saith, all in sum in place and bane, as ye yourselfen say, no then shall, not un on leave come, for all the gold betwixt and son and say, trusteth well, and understandeth me, there shall not un to mercy gun on leave, all were he lord of worldes twies five. Sweet spreche on him, for fetching of a lane, there shall be taka, that we hennes wende, that manes, which the goddess bane of pain, shall be a gas that Greekes will him shande, and men shall dreade unto the worldes end, from henceforth to ravish any queen, so cruel shall our wretche on him be sane. On bond of Calchas laid us with ambages, that is to say, with double wordes lee, switch as men clape a word with two visages. Ye shall well knowen that he knocked ne lee, and all this thing reek seen it with your ye, and that anon ye nill not trow how soon. Now taketh heed, for it is for to dawn. What a when ye your wees a father wolde, and ye van antenor for jou anon, if he ne wist that the city shoulde destroyed been, we, nay, so moti gone. He knew full well there shall not scape an un that Troyan is, and for the great affaire he durste not, he dwelt a langer there. But will ye more, loofsome lady dere, lat Troy and Troyan fro your hearte passa, drift out that bittre hope, and make good cheer, and clape again the beauty of your face, that ye with salted terror so deface, for Troy is braucht in switch a Jupiter, that it to save is now no remedy. And thinketh well, ye shall in Greekes fiend a more perfect love, ere it be neeked, than any Troyan is, and more keened, and bet to serve in jou well doen his meeked, and if ye vouchsafe, me lady breeked, I will bane hae to serve and yow myself, yea, laver than hae Lord of Graeca's 12. And with that word he gan to wax and read, and in his speech a little weaked he quoke, and cast aside a little weaked his heed, and stint a wheela, and afterward awoke. On sober leech on here he threw his look, and saide, I am, albeit yow no joy, as gentle man as any weaked in Troy. For if me father Tydius, he said, I lived hadde, he hadde been ere this, of Calydon and Arge a king, Criseyde, and so hope I that I shall yet I wis, but he was slain alas, the more harm is, unhappily at Thebes all too wrathe, Polymetes and many a man to scathe. But heart a mean, since that I am your man, and being the fairest of whom I sache a grace, to serve yow as heartily as I can, and ever shall, while I to leave have space. So ere that I depart out of this place, I will me grant that I may tomorrow at better leisure tell yow my sorrow. What surely tell his wordes that he saide, he spake now for a day at the maiste. It proveth well he spake so that Criseyde granted on the morrow at his requeste, for to spaken with him at the laste, so that he nolde spake of switch matter, and thus to him she said, as ye may hear. End of Book 5, Part 1 of Troilus and Criseyde. Recording by Kevin Johnson.